Working with children can be a real challenge, and it requires the teamwork of drivers, aides, administrators, teachers, and parents to effectively manage their behavior. Unfortunately, there are times that teamwork breaks down and transportation staff and parents find themselves in conflict.
If you can't control them, I'm going to call your supervisor and get someone out here who can.
The mother bear comes to the defense of her cub.
Look, I'm a taxpayer and I pay your wages. That means you work for me. If you don't drop Philip off at my sister's, he's going to be alone in the house.
The parent wants special treatment.
Look, nobody here is going to interfere with me seeing my family. Now step out of the way.
The non-custodial parent is threatening to take the child off the bus. Whatever the situation, our goal in developing this tape is to give you some practical ideas for resolving disputes. In the worst situations, that may mean that you're able to encourage an irate parent to leave the bus, and in the best, that you're able to make the parent your ally. And as we begin, let's take a quick look at what we'll be learning in this session. First, we'll be talking about two skills that can be used to build a bridge between you and the parent. And these skills will help you to gather information and to reduce the emotional intensity of a conversation. The first skill is the power of questions, and the second is the effective use of the empathetic response. Next, you'll be given a variety of techniques for dealing with the angry parent for diffusing their anger. There will be times when your efforts to diffuse will be unsuccessful, so you'll be given 4 verbal steps for encouraging the parent to follow your direction. And finally, you'll be given a 3-step approach for disengaging yourself from the difficult parent if the situation is just not getting better. When drivers come in contact with a distressed parent, it's not uncommon to have a couple of different reactions. The first, to interpret their frustration as personal, to lose sight of the message because of the way it's being communicated, and to become defensive.
Can't you get better control of these kids?
Do you think that I should have to do that and drive at the same time?
The other is to try to move to a solution before we have a clear picture of what's really going on.
Can't you get better control of these kids?
What do you think I should try?
If you aren't aware of what the problem is, it's difficult to come up with a solution. And it's at times like this when you need the power of questions to find out what's going on. Brief, clearly stated questions will help you to understand what's happening. Sometimes the parent's emotions are simply the tip of the iceberg. They let you know that there's a problem, but you need to get below the surface and find out what it is. The best questions are open-ended. Questions that give you more than a yes or no answer, and usually start with the words who, what, where, when, or how. Try to avoid the why question, because it tends to move away from the facts.
Why do you think you said that to your son?
Because he's a mean, self-centered little brat.
And may even be seen as judgmental.
Why do you think your son reacted the way he did?
Are you suggesting my son should just sit there and take it?
The most powerful question is the what question, because it does the best job of helping you to get at what's under the surface. Mrs. Smith, what was the difficulty on the bus yesterday?
That Harrison boy was giving Jeremy a terrible time.
What was he doing?
Didn't you hear him? He was near the front of the bus.
What did the Harrison boy say?
He told Jeremy to give him his lunch money.
And what happened then? Notice how the questions are keeping the parent focused on what happened and how they help the driver to avoid being sidetracked and from getting defensive. For some parents, it's enough that you've heard what they have to say, and once they've given you the picture, they're able to let it go. But there'll be times when gathering the facts isn't going to be enough, and you'll need another valuable skill. When emotions are running high, they can begin to mask the issues. And one of the ways that you can encourage parents to let go of the emotion is to acknowledge them, to empathize. Empathy is the ability to see a situation from someone else's perspective. It's not sympathy or your emotional response to the situation. We tend to fall into 2 traps in our effort to convey our concern, and they're often poorly received. Watch this situation and notice what happens when the driver tries to convey that they understand what the parent's saying, and then to apologize.
Do you have any idea what the kids are saying to my son?
Well, I guess I'm not sure what you mean.
What I mean is the kids are making fun of my son, and I won't tolerate it.
I'm sorry, I had no idea your son was being bothered.
You being sorry doesn't help my son one bit.
I understand. I mean, it's an awful thing to have people make fun of you.